Hello traders, it's Yanis here from Nikos Trading Academy and welcome to another video for our live trading room results. As always, I have chosen 4 or 5 pairs I think and see what happened the week that passed. Now I start with Euro Yen. Recently we had a lot of bounces and wedges. You can see another here with resistance and a really nice trend line here. Of course, that was not the issue when we saw our opportunity, and on lower settings we said let's see if we can bounce trade that short. So you see we had a really nice retracement on higher settings, and we had our conservative bounce setup and then our opportunity to go long with an APO of like 30 pips. Price has already moved all the way up to our resistance area. Incremental profits also more of course than 140 pips that I'm writing down, and you can see if you are already in, definitely what happens is if you haven't trailed your APO or you did trail your APO on higher settings, this is that, how much is that? 220 pips and still going. That is exactly why I say keep your last position running. Similar approach with GBP JPY. Again, you can see we had a higher settings wedge. There you go, it's better. You can see here. So we saw price retracing. Even if you draw a trend line here, you can see that trend line breaking. And on lower settings, multiple touches again, conservative bounce opportunity, and some of you took with pending orders the bounce here, some of you waited for a more conservative approach, like we already have discussed that in our live room, and you can see that price has already moved on win-win scenario. If you trailed your APO on higher settings, that means you would be stopped out on 100 pips. What is that? 100? Yeah, 100 pips on higher settings. If you haven't trailed that, that means you are still running with 180 pips all the way up here. Again, in this trade we have 4 times our APO, like Euro Yen, which was 7 times our APO. Forgot to mention that. Now on New Zealand dollar yen, what happened again? We had a nice retracement. We were expecting a bounce, but what happened? Price retraced, combined resistance support area, and with an entry of like 40-50 pips, again already 120 win-win scenario, easily 3 times our APO, and with our top-down approach we are already going for next potential target. Exactly the reason we are talking about leaving your last position running. On Euro New Zealand dollar, we had also a nice opportunity. We had here trend continuation. This is higher settings, lower settings combined entry, and again with our entry here like 50-60 pips. Price has already moved 200 pips, 3 times our APO, again win-win scenario. And what happened? Another opportunity, like our system, bounce, trend line break, higher low, crossover of the MAs, and with lower settings entry we had this opportunity. A really nice setup, again going the opposite direction because there was a reason, not just because we saw price changing direction. We applied our filters, our strategy, we took the trade 25 pips, and we are already in this trade. Let me zoom out a bit. Look at this. This was our entry. Price is still moving, and with the higher settings, retracement is in this level. Let's count that from here, more or less. We are talking about 190 pips and still counting. Why? Because price can go all the way up here. This is our target. This is how far we are going. We are risking 25 pips somewhere here, going for 500. We have done it before. Well done for those that are already in this trade. Euro, New Zealand dollar with short and long, we are talking about 10 times our APO. We are still in our win-win scenario and still counting. Another similar trade was with Euro CAD. In this case, we had, of course, reaction, multiple tops. Price couldn't break this area. Then at the beginning of the week, price went back inside this zone. We had our retracement, and we are talking about again an entry of like 30 pips, win-win scenario till 140. I'm counting this area because this would be your incremental profits. You might get stopped out, got stopped out with 130 pips, but then price gave us the same thing, a bounce or a reaction, a trend line break, a crossover, and a 1 2 3. We took this entry with an APO of 27 more or less pips. If price with the spikes, probably you get stopped out. On the live room we got stopped out because also the spread was a bit long. Price was kind of a range here, but then we had another opportunity. We saw price breaking, retracing, we saw reaction, higher lows, and with another entry, again 25 pips, we can see that price has already moved 120 pips after this retracement. Of course, on higher settings, you can see that here was our entry, and price has retraced with a huge 1 2 3. You've heard me saying many times, when we have major support and resistance levels close to 36 CMA, price tends to break my 36 CMA and go and touch this area. So what I'm looking actually here is a long opportunity. Anyway, on Monday morning we will discuss everything with our top-down approach. Now, in total, these 4 or 5 trades were more than 1000 pips, and because we kept our last position running, we are talking about more than 30 times our APO. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful weekend, and see you again Monday morning. Stay safe, everybody.